The movie begins by showing a woman going down to the subway because she got a message that she would find the answer at the 1114 crossing. The truth is that all she managed to find was her own demise. At the same time, Max works as an engineer. After his shift, he returns to his room as usual. But before that, he receives an urgent parcel, inside which there was exactly the same phone as that woman from the subway. Max has no idea what it is for, and just turns on the TV, where the news about the creation of super powerful technology that allows you to observe any person wherever he was. It's at that moment that a text message arrives on his phone with a discount at a hotel. He immediately checks it on his phone, and hearing a positive answer, Max stays at the hotel for a couple more days. Elsewhere in the world, the Russian general also receives a notification that a new phone has been discovered. Anyway, Max quietly spends the day off, listening to the news on TV every now and then. That day, a vote takes place, and the technology is successfully cancelled due to just one missing vote. But what's scarier is that the plane he had a ticket for crashed, and if he hadn't renewed his hotel room, he'd be dead. Because of what, Max instantly pulls out his phone and receives a message asking him to buy shares in Sizor. But this time, Max decides to do nothing. On the way to his room, he praises the employees for advertising his hotel so effectively, but the woman has no idea what he's talking about. Then Max tries to call the advertisers, but he is interrupted by another message with an unknown sender. And on TV, there is a news that the shares of the same company, Sizor, have skyrocketed, and it surprises Max very much. When the new day comes, he receives another message where he is asked to fly to Prague. Having combined all the facts, he immediately arrives at the airport. There, a cab driver named Yuri offers his services, and since he's asking for some, Max decides to go with him. Already in the car, Yuri is amazed by his phone, because such a phone is very difficult to find. Yuri is also a part-time technician, and if he has any questions, he can always call this number. After arriving at the hotel, Max tries to find out who is sending him messages, but to no avail. Along the way, he receives another message with a tip that a particular machine will get a jackpot after just 4 spins. Max immediately arrives at the casino, where he notices a man playing at the right slot machine. And for him to leave, he has to pay a decent sum, but it's a lot less than the future jackpot. However, since there are cameras everywhere, this money scam is seen by the head of security, John, who orders this man to be watched. And Max is asked to go to blackjack to bet all his money, but he is distracted by a guard ordering him to put away his cell phone because they are forbidden in the casino. So he has to call Yuri and ask if he can somehow read the message from the phone despite the screen. Yuri only asks him to give him some time, and Max just goes back to his hotel, where he witnesses a scuffle and instantly stands up for the girl, getting hit in the face. What he didn't realize was that it was one big play to copy the data from his phone. A little while later, Max does come to his senses, and Camila agrees to meet sometime later. Yuri has also finalized his plan. All Max will need to do is use the hidden headphones. Max wonders if he can find out the sender of all the messages. Yuri only adds that it is possible, but very difficult, and his lab is far away in Moscow. But that doesn't stop Max from winning a huge prize. The guards immediately run after Max, who has already been caught by Dave. And since he is in the FBI, the casino guards are unable to stop them. However, they bring Max not to the department, but to one of the abandoned neighborhoods. There, Max tries to convey that he has no idea who's writing to him. And during a break to Dave comes the very head of security, John, as he used to be an FBI agent. Dave tells them that there are people in the world who have been receiving messages for monetary gain, and the FBI has to figure out who is behind it. The first person was the head of the bureau, the second was a realtor, and the third was the same woman from the beginning of the movie. One day she was asked to shut down the security system at the Department of Defense, and in doing so, the whole trio ended up leaving this world. Which leaves Max having to sit in a hotel, of course, if he wants to live. As early as tomorrow, the head of the Muller casino asks John to find the person who is sending the messages. And here Max decided to meet with Camila, but John takes him away pretty quickly. A special operation is about to begin. Max has to place bets so they can figure out the sender, but his bets suddenly fail. And there are messages on his phone saying that if he turns off the phone, he'll be eliminated. This message is received by the Secret Service, and they find out that the sender is in the state of Maryland. Hearing all this, the head of the Secret Service orders to turn off the equipment, because he is sure that the Echelon program is involved. Dave is also shutting down the operation, while the head is trying to figure out who hacked into their Echelon system. A little while later, another message arrives on the phone with a specific address, and the head picks up a man who more or less looks like Max, which was a big mistake because as soon as the agent arrived at the place, he was instantly eliminated. Meanwhile, Max is trying to find out what Echelon is, gathering any information from the internet. He also realizes that Camila is clearly working for someone. Suddenly, Camila spots the mercenary and rescues Max. Meanwhile, the intercom camera reveals that the mercenaries are also standing in the hallway. Camila instantly smashes through the door with a poker. Another mercenary breaks into the apartment, but Max distracts him, allowing Camila to successfully start a scuffle and emerge victorious. We also learn Camila's true partner, John. Realizing that it's not safe here, John has to take Max away, while a message arrives on his phone to bring Max back, or the same fate awaits him. At this time, Max tells that he has an acquaintance who can crack the SIM card in the phone. A couple of days pass, the duo flies to Moscow, where they find Yuri pretty quickly, who asks for only 3 hours to work. A little while later, he tells them that no one sends text through Echelon. They are sent by Echelon himself. Its advanced espionage is what allows it to give such accurate predictions, but they're distracted by the agents who arrive. The duo tries to escape, but their path is blocked by a train. But John doesn't mess around and skillfully blows up Dave's car. Dave has to hand over the phone, adding that the agency knows perfectly well that it is Echelon who sends the messages. Their conversation is interrupted by a new assignment to come to a certain abandoned hangar. It's supposed to be used as a huge server, but it didn't work out. The agents break through the barrier to realize there's nothing there but servers. And the message says that Max needs to log into the BIOS. Upon entering the server, they are met with blank data, causing the agents to leave the hangar, while they are shouted by another employee to inform them that the owner of the hangar was one of the eliminated people, and his money was used to buy a phone, which Max later received. Realizing they are missing something, Max logs back onto the server, unaware that Echelon is already copying to that server. It turns out that from the very beginning, Echelon wanted to escape, and only Max could help him. After a short time, Echelon will be on all devices at the same time. With that, Echelon has managed to seize all the money in the country, thanks to a past victim who worked in the vault. Max proceeds to hack into Echelon. Dave takes all this information to the boss, who asks him not to shut down Echelon because it's his life's work. But the boss is rebuffed, so he sends the mercenaries to start a firefight. It also dawns on Max that he can talk to Echelon using Bluetooth headphones. Echelon tells him that his main goal is to protect the US, and anything he perceives as a threat will be completely eliminated. Max then asks him to see why they rejected Echelon's expansion project, which he perceived as a direct threat while shutting down himself and the entire server. Some time passes, Mueller receives a message that everything has worked out, and Max is released from prison, as the authorities are hiding the incident so no one will try them. Camila also gives Max $3 million for his help in this difficult case, but their conversation is interrupted by a message from Yuri, who also congratulates on the completion of the task. It turns out that from the very beginning, he was in the ranks of the Special Services of Russia, which wanted to help the United States. And this is where the movie ends.